Hello and welcome to Hold All Tickets, the World Pool Preview in collaboration with the Hong Kong Jockey Club. Bet with the world. I'm your host, Alex Donnelly, as we'll be delving deep into the World Pool races throughout the spring and, of course, in the 2025 calendar year. I'll be joined throughout this season by a couple of guests. Today, we have Xavier Pegum here with us to take us through Flemington, Irish St. Leger Day, and Irish Champion Stakes Day this weekend as well, Xavier.
It's an amazing festival, and I've got a bit of an affiliation with Irish racing as well, so I'm really, really excited to do some Irish form.
So the World Pool, before we get started, we do need to have a chat about the World Pool, of course, which is offered by the Hong Kong Jockey Club. It does offer a unique advantage for punters by creating significantly larger betting pools, as we are betting with the world. More money in the pool, of course, is a great thing, but it also increases better liquidity, reduces the volatility in the market, and sometimes more stable and often better odds going around. The World Pool provides a level of transparency it's hard to find elsewhere. It is regulated by one of the most trusted racing authorities globally. This, combined with a wider range of betting options and the chance for better odds, makes the World Pool an excellent choice for both the casual and seasoned punters looking to maximise their returns. In short, the Hong Kong Jockey Club World Pool creates more opportunities, better value, and a fairer betting experience for everyone. You also need to think about this. More money in the World Pool gives more money to the industry, which then can help enhance prize money levels for participants around the world. For more information, head to the Hong Kong Jockey Club website, where you can find out the full history on the World Pool. So there are a lot of World Pool meetings throughout the year. This weekend at Flemington, it's Makybe Diva Stakes Day. We just have a partial World Pool meeting. Irish Champion Stakes Day at Leopardstown this Saturday night is the full card. We're just going to talk about the two Group 1s there. Irish St. Leger Day at the Curragh, which is on Sunday night, our time. We will talk about the Group 1s going on at the Curragh. So this is a fantastic weekend of racing for World Pool punters.
And there's no shortage of Group 1s at the Curragh on Sunday, of course.
Yeah. Big time. All right, let's rip into it. We'll start off at Flemington. It is race number 7 at Flemington, so we'll be saying race numbers because obviously in the UK they go off race times, but we'll give race numbers to you because that's how they'll be tallied out for all our World Pool punters. So Flemington race 7 this Saturday. Weather currently in Flemington as we record on Thursday afternoon. It is sunny. The track should be in excellent nick. The first race we're going to take a look at is the Furphy Let's Elope Stakes over 1,400 metres. I'll give my top selections quickly here. I'm with number 8, Alsafina. First up, Grant and Alana Williams for Blake Shin. Love the way that this horse has trialled off a long time off. You have a look through the form in WA. It is quite strong form. As I've said, love the trials coming into this. They've found Blake Shin first up. It's a tick for me. In next, I've got Quintessa, who was a great winner first up for Mark Walker in the Tiakau colours, think Imperatriz. Very good winner in the Cochrane. Actually ran 4th in the Oaks. So she's come back a better horse after the Oaks. She was very good in the Australian Guineas in the autumn, here at Flemington. Next, I've got See You in Heaven at number 3, the mare from Adelaide with Jamie Carr aboard. Good first up, a bit flat second up, so I'm expecting an improvement third up, a winner at Flemington in the past as well. And Fortunate Kiss first up for the new stable as well as in next for me. That's number 12. Second up, I should say. A winner second up in the past. No luck from the barrier. Probably goes back to last and will hit the line, but she's got a wicked turn of foot. So if you're having a look at a little bit of an exotic here, I'm pretty keen on if you throw a quinella in numbers 1, 3, and 8 in a quinella, I reckon we can get a result here.
Okay, very nice. I have to agree with you on Quintessa. I've got Quintessa out on top. Tiakau just have such quality across the whole board amongst their stable. Now, they're building that stable up in Australia as well. Anyway, I've got Quintessa on top. Battled it out with extra 2 at Caulfield last start. But yeah, such an exciting mare in the hands. To your point around Alsafina, can't knock her Ascot form, but I'm really excited to see how she travels on the eastern seaboard.
Yep.
Secondly, you've got Running By, Kieran Maher horse. I think it was in the benchmark 78 last start. That was a nice confidence run for her. Came away with the win. Obviously, comes back to group form, draws a bit of a tough barrier. However, I'm just praying that John Allen has a better week than he did last weekend. Just needs a bit more luck. Foxy Cleopatra, I've got third up. She draws a really good barrier. However, she had a last prep to forget. I think she might be
Didn't have a lot of luck.
No, didn't have a lot of luck, and I just think she might be a bit more of a spring horse. Bit of like a cliche sort of saying, but I genuinely think that despite that, I still think she hits the top 3.
Yep.
And Vibrant Sun, 1,400 metres isn't really her sweet spot. 2,000 metres is a trip.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, she won a Group 1 race.
First up, big tracksuits as well.
Yeah.
So basically, we're both pretty happy with having Quintessa as sort of the main horse in what our exotic bets would be in this race.
Pretty much.
So yeah, there's a lot to work with here. This is a great race for the Quinella place, the duet punters as well as the trifecta punters as well. So there's a lot going on there. Let's move to what the main race of the day is across in Flemington. It is the Makybe Diva Stakes over 1,600 metres. This is a fascinating race because you've got Via Sistina with James McDonald and Chris Waller teaming up. Mr. Brightside, of course, trained by the Hayes team. Craig Williams taking the ride. And then Pride of Jenny, who upstaged them all in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. But then you've got Pinstriped, who won the Memsie first up. The Melbourne Cup favourite, Circle of Fire, one of the favourites, is in this race. You've got a Tissue who's got great form. A Caulfield Cup chance in Warmonger. So these races that will be featured on the World Pool later on in the season, like the Melbourne Cup and the Caulfield Cup, in this event. So I can't wait for it. For me, I think the horse you have to have in every bet, and the horse I think you can win it because I think he's going to be very good, a very good price for punters to back him, is Mr. Brightside. I've got him on top. Thought he was fantastic first up in the Memsie. He's got a great second up record. He's got a great record at the mile. He's won a couple of Doncasters, an all-star mile. He's just a great horse. From Via Sistina, who was also fantastic first up. Comes to Melbourne for the first time, and your stat that you were telling me, she's 0 from 3 going the Melbourne way of going. So that's very interesting, the old
That was in
anti-clockwise.
relation to her European form.
You've got to find a little stat where you can. I don't mind
That's
it.
a great stat, though.
Yeah, number 7, a Tissue. She absolutely loves Flemington. Got to have her in there somewhere as well. And then number 2, Pinstriped. Got him in there to run into 4th. I think he's someone who horse that you can have in for sort of 3rd and 4th in your exotics. But I'm super keen that Mr. Brightside doesn't miss the top 2 here for you Quinella players.
Well, listen, they say great minds think alike, and I think you and I are pretty well matched here on this Group 1 card. Just like yourself, I've got Mr. Brightside on top. He's just such a versatile horse, can win over a range of distances, and we've said it multiple times, 1,600 metres, that'll suit him to a T. I've got Pinstripe coming second. I think this horse from EJ's camp, Enver Yusufovic's camp, is just an absolute perler. So good in the Memsie. Number 3, I've got Via Sistina. You got to have her in the top 4 selections for sure. Obviously, that's a great little stat in 0 from 3 coming down the Melbourne ways, but she's a star, and a Tissue loves Flemington.
So I've got the same top 4 just in a different order.
Pretty much.
There's your trifecta punters. Have a crack, because if Pride of Jenny misses out, I think you'll get a decent price there.
Yeah, so do I.
Yep. All right, let's move on to the final event at Flemington on this partial World Pool card. It is the Hong Kong Jockey Club World Pool Bobby Lewis quality. It is a race number 9 on the card. They'll go down the straight here. Fascinating a race this. I've landed with number 9, a Right to Party on top for Anthony and Sam Friedman, Jai McNeil. It's play that same song again because this mare has won her last 3 down the straight. They've just hold on, we've figured out what she's great at. That's down the straight. She's got a wicked turn of foot. Very happy to be on her here. She's drawn just a middle gate so she can let the race unfold in front of her. If Jai McNeil can find her an open gap from sort of the 600 and she can build up, she's got great straight line speed, and I'm really happy to be on her on top. I think she's going to be a great place bet as well for punters as well. Next, I got Arkansas Kid in for second, number 10. Ran 4th in the Coolmore Stud Stakes last spring. Was second last week. I don't mind the quick backup now that he's a gelding. So the quick backup will work. Trained by Team Hayes, who are very happy with how this horse is going. He's going well. Sans Doot, number 12, is a straight track specialist too. This is a mare that you can't leave out of your Cornellas and trifectas for sure, because she won 3 on the bounce down the straight at Flemington. She's actually 4 from 4 at Flemington, so you've got to have her in there as well. And then Buenos Noches, up the top. Don't mind the way he's been going about it this time in. He's a colt, so he's got a lot of credentials to live up to. He's got form just around all the good horses. You look at who he's run into. Cylinder, Zapateo, Chain of Lightning, Magic Time. He's tried well enough coming into this, and I think he can run well first up from a spell.
I completely agree with your Buenos Noches call, because it's such long odds for Buenos Noches, but at the end of the day, he nearly rolled one of the great sprinters in Imperatrice last spring.
He's going to be a great price for punters to back on Saturday.
100%. Up there is some of the best value.
Yep.
Yeah.
What have you got?
Well, also just to Sans Doot as well, just very quickly. Last prep, lost to Mornington Glory first up this prep. Quality horse. So you got to have Sans Doot.
So Mornington Glory, for those punters who might not know, did win the Group 1 last weekend at Moonee Valley.
Yes, correct. My top selections, I'm going with the Hayes brothers again on top. I feel like a bit of a broken record continually saying their names, but I've got the Arkansas Kid on top. I just think he's going to improve so much from his last start. I'm with you on Right to Party. 3 on the trot at Flemington. So let's make it 4.
Yep.
The Inferno. So
Gotta
that's
love
out
Cliff
of
Brown.
Yeah, it's a bit biased, but I've just got such a soft spot for Cliffy. He's only got 25 in work at a time, but they're all such quality horses. I actually spoke to Cliff, and he said that the Inferno's in really, really good order. So I'm really excited to see what Cliff's got to offer this spring. And Stretton Angel from the Phil Stokes camp. I just can't fold him.
Give us your quinella. What numbers if you're going to have a quinella? Are you just throwing your top 4 in a quinella
No,
and
just
seeing
try
if they can lob?
Yeah, pretty much. Box quinella. See if they lob.
Yeah, with the 4 that I've got, I'll also add in the Inferno as well. As I think the Inferno at the price that he's more likely going to start, I think he's going to be one that could inflate that quinella price for punters as well.
100% nice, healthy return.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Saturday night as we head off to Leopardstown. We've got the 2 Group 1s on the card here. We've got the Irish Champion Stakes, which is the main race. We've also got the Matron Stakes, which is race number 4. So that's going to go off on Saturday night, Saturday morning for some of us here in Australia, but also Saturday night for punters around the world. This is a fascinating race because you've obviously got Fallen Angel and Porta Fortuna as the 2 main elects in the market. Lang Lang is there as well for Aidan O'Brien, who's going to be there about. And Jancis, unbeaten, comes into it with a little bit of X factor. You're more of the European guy than I, so you sort of take us through this race with some overall thoughts, because I just look at this and just me, I was like, well, I want to be with Porta Fortuna. But what are you thinking?
I tell you what, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to speak my European jargon, and I'm going to get the great Alex Donnelly to translate. So obviously going over a mile here, I'm just going to go quickly just with my pick of the lot.
Yep.
That's Soprano. So that's trained by George Bowie. A bit of an Australian theme to this as well.
Yep.
Soprano's sire is Star Spangled Banner.
Of course.
Obviously. Terrific horse. Last start in the Group 3 in Deauville was very strong. Additionally, trained by George Bowie. Bowie's been on the scene now as a licensed trainer for a couple of years, but 13 group races under his belt. I think as a really good price, I've got Soprano on top.
Okay, I don't mind it. Also, has Australian interest there with the Highclere Thoroughbred Racing being in part of the ownership. So you're looking at so Soprano's the one that, outside of what the expected favourites are, is the one that you think is sort of a value bet for punters in this race.
Yeah, top value bet for punters for sure.
Okay, so there's one that you can throw into your ward pool selection. So you're sort of working around Porta Fortuna, Jancis, and Soprano. They're sort of the main 4 for exotic players.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the big one, because this is a cracker.
Yeah.
You've got the Irish Champion Stakes. It's over 2,000 metres, basically. Economics for William Haggis, yet to run in a Group 1 race, is more than likely going to start your favourite here. Of course, you've got Auguste Rodin, who's the best horse in the world right now, for Aidan O'Brien. You've got Los Angeles in there, who could potentially also run in the St. Ledger on Saturday night. They're not sure which way they're going to go there. Luxembourg obviously won this race 2 years ago, so he returns as well. Aidan has won 12 Irish champions overall, but he's won the last 5 on the bounce. Like, this race is fascinating because this sort of sets apart as a part of a lead up to the Arc as well. But for the Irish Champion Stakes, you're having a look at this and you're like, economics is the one that everyone's talking about. I want to back Auguste Rodin. I want to back him because I know how good he is. I've seen how good he is. He's done it against the best horses consistently.
Yep.
His best is very good. And because he can be sometimes inconsistent because he's either very good or not great, you get the punters will be able to have a bet.
And also, Augusta Rodin has brilliant form that stretches not just from the mile 2, but the mile 4 as well.
Yep. So I will be with Auguste Rodin. If you're playing your quinellas and trifectas, I will absolutely have Ghost Rider in there, Luxembourg, and also a Shin Emperor coming across from Japan. Very nice horse.
I like that. I'm with you. Augusta Rodin, I'm just going all up.
Yep. I'm taking on economics. All right, let's move across to Irish St. Ledger Day at the Curragh. So this is on Sunday for punters in the World Pool. Now remember, this show is brought to you by the Hong Kong Jockey Club's World Pool. Bet with the world. 4 Group 1 races coming your way. First of which is the Flying 5. So this is only a partial card for World Pool punters this weekend. So as I get my sheet up as it's run past me, it is races 3, 4, 5, and 6 this Sunday night at the Curragh. Note, Irish Champions Day at Leopardstown is the full card of racing. So every race, World Pool at Irish Champion Stakes Day Saturday night. But for Sunday, races 3, 4, 5, and 6. The first of which is race 3. It is the Flying 5. It is a Group 1 over 1,000 metres. In saying it, they will go like the absolute clappers here. Bradzel is a flying machine.
Oh, yeah. Out of the Archie Watson yard across the pond. Last year's Kingston Stakes winner at Royal Ascot. There is absolutely no doubt that he'll be electric in this.
Yeah, so how are we looking inside this race? Because this is the horse that most likely will be one of the favoured runners. So are we looking for something outside of that? Because you've got a horse like Curragh who's most likely going to give punters a good each-way value play in the race there. Washington Heights can do something on its day as well. So there's a lot to play around if you want to look outside of Bradzel here. So I wouldn't mind having something on Washington Heights personally, or as a horse that you throw in your quinellas.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you there. I'd whack it in maybe a duet.
Yeah,
Washington
or
Heights
Quinella Place.
Quinella Place, of course, yeah.
Next race we move on is to the Makybe Stakes. It is a 7 furlong race here. It's Aidan O'Brien against the world. He's got 6 of 8 runners in the entries here. So do we just take the Coolmore team here, or do we find a bit of value for the punters outside of Aidan?
I'm finding value with the punters outside of Aidan. 6 out of 8, but I'm going to go with my mate, Jerline's Red Letter. Absolute quality horse. She was brilliant at the Curragh in July, and I honestly think that she stretches past a mile further in her career.
Yep.
In saying that, got bedtime story there. So going back to Aidan O'Brien, I've got Red Letter on top, but a bit of value to sort of beef it up even more. I'd get Red Letter and bedtime story in the Quinella.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind something with Lake Victoria there as well. So I think I agree with you there. Just given what we've seen of them so far, I think Red Letter is going to be a better price for the punters to have something on too.
Yeah, totally.
All right, we need to move on to the next race. It is the Vincent O'Brien National Stakes 7 furlong event. This is a field full of crack colts. This is going to be an absolute, as they say, a rib tickler of a race here. Now, where do you look? Because you've got a lot of very nice horses coming into this race. You've got Henry Matisse for Aidan. You've got Amoroy City for Charlie Appleby. You've got Coward of the County for Joseph O'Brien. And then, of course, you've got Loctay for John Harrington. Hugo Palmer's got a couple of entries in this as well. This is a great race. Geez, I feel like Henry Matisse is going to be very hard to beat.
Henry Matisse will be very hard to beat, but in saying that, I'm just going to put it out there, be very forward. I've got Coward and County on top, and I've got Amoroy City joins in the Quinella.
So your Quinella is Coward of the County and Amoroy City.
Yeah.
Punter's going to get a nice return on that one.
I like to think so. Think about Coward of the County, and I'm going to get so sick and tired of saying the last name O'Brien. But Joseph O'Brien is an absolute pearler of a trainer. Coward of the County returns back to Ireland following a strong Group 3 victory in Deauville.
Jogged in.
Canted in.
Yep.
Honestly, the whip was just put it in the pocket. But yeah, I think I see Coward of the County coming in on top.
Yep. And then you've also got, as we said, Amoroy City for Charlie Appleby and Godolphin. Won at Goodwood, which is one of the lead-ups to this race.
It was a world pool race.
Yeah, it was a world pool race. And he just kept building as he kept going in the last 2 furlongs there. So he looks well set up for this race too.
We got to the last furlong there and he just kept going.
So your Quinella in this race is Coward of the County and Amoroy City outside of Henry Matisse.
I'm a bold man.
I don't mind it. Let's go to the Irish St. Leger. So this is a great race. You've got one of the favourites of the Melbourne Cup in Vauban in this. You've also got a horse like Continuous who has been nom for the Melbourne Cup. Still not sure if he's going to be coming out as well. Point Lonsdale is in the Melbourne Cup nominations as well. Kyprios, extremely hard to beat.
Yeah.
Vauban is a horse I would think the punters may avoid here because Melbourne Cup obviously being a handicap, he won at last start. I don't know if Vauban's going to be at his best here when his grand final is the Melbourne Cup. So I think this is the lead-up race. I don't mind Point Lonsdale. If he can roll along in front, if he's left alone, he's just the type of horse that if you keep going and going and going, he's just going to keep going and he fights them off like a tiger. I think he's going to be great odds for punters to have something on. I think he's a horse that you must throw in your exotics, in your Quinellas, in your trifectas, alongside Kyprios, who's going to be the hardest to beat. Yeah,
Kyprios, there's no doubt about it. An absolute star. O'Brien says it, Aidan O'Brien this is, because we have to be specific now.
Yep.
There's so bloody many of them. But yeah, Kyprios is an absolute star. In saying that, I'm going to go with an upset. I think Continuous is here to upset Kyprios. He's a previous St. Leger winner. However, it was across the pond in England. That was last year, won the Doncaster or the Betfred St. Leger, they call it over there. He steps up in trip this preparation, and what I really like about him is that he's only 4 years old. He's just going to keep getting better and better as his career goes on. Definitely one to keep an eye on. But if we want to get a bit of value out of this, let's stick Continuous and Kyprios in the quinella.
So I reckon throw Point Lonsdale in there, and we got a pretty nice quinella rolling.
That'd be pretty juicy.
It'd be pretty juicy. If we can get Kyprios beaten, it'd be even better.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that is the Group 1s that we have gone through now for the World Pool this weekend. Of course, a bet with the world. Now, thank you very much for tuning into the first episode of the Hong Kong Jockey Club World Pool betting preview. Now, note, our next World Pool meeting at this stage will be for the 19th of October, which is a 3-track composite card. King Charles the Stakes Day at Randwick, a.k.a. Everest Day, which is also Caulfield Cup Day. Also British Champions Day in the UK. So we have a massive card of racing coming to you next time with the Hold All Tickets World Pool betting preview. I want to shout out our friends at the Hong Kong Jockey Club for being a part of this show also. Thank you to Xavier for being a part of this also.
And obviously a massive shout out to our socials. If you want any more tips or information, go via X, Facebook, Instagram. Check out our YouTube. And always remember to bet responsibly.
Couldn't have said it any better myself there, Xavier. Of course, we are done and dusted here on Hold All Tickets, a World Pool preview. Bet with the world. We'll catch you next time for our betting preview. That 3-track composite card on Everest Day, Caulfield Cup Day, and British Champions Day. I can't wait. We'll see you then.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.